Good morning. Hi. Welcome to this podcast about knitting and spinning and all kinds of creative making. And also today on December 24th, of course, Merry Christmas to all of you. I hope you have a wonderful and peaceful holiday filled with love and light. I want to start today's show with introducing myself. I'm Doug, and this podcast is coming to you from Albuquerque in beautiful New Mexico. And today, again, luckily, I have with me my wonderful mom who's visiting right now from Germany, and her name is Gerda. And I twisted her arm a little bit today to come on the podcast again because she has been ill with a cold, but she is, fortunately, she's getting over it. So she agreed to coming on and to show her blanket, the progress on her blanket. Ich habe gerade erzählt, dass du erkältet warst, ein bisschen besser bist, aber dass ich dich überredet habe, heute nochmal dabei zu sein, damit du deine Decke zeigen kannst oder die Decke für Louis. So let's just hold the thing up. It's so gorgeous. Komm, wir halten es mal hoch, deine schöne Decke. So schön.
Komm her, komm. See?
Wow. So, upper edge and goes up to here. Wow. Können wir mal ein kleines Stück zurück? Nein, you can't see it. How big it is. It's amazing. So schön, Mama. Danke dir. Willst du noch was dazu erzählen?
Ich sage allen auch einen schönen Festtag, Merry Christmas, habt alle eine schöne Zeit und vielleicht bis bald. Tschüss.
Danke dir, Mama.
Ja, tschüssi.
Tschüss. Okay, she's going to get some rest this morning. So, that was nice. I love that blanket. It's amazing how fast she is. So my husband and I, we were out of town. We had to go to Houston and to renew my German passport you have to go to the consulate. And so we made it a little vacation. So during that time, she was here by herself with mostly only our daughter Fiona, but Fiona is in school, so she was all day pretty much by herself, and she was just knitting away all day. So that's how this blanket grows so fast, and she likes it. It's just, I think it's a fun project to work on with lots of different colors. So what have I been working on? Let me start with the socks that I have returned to in the last week since I saw you. I was very tempted to cast on some Christmas socks, but I'm a little bit stressed out by all the socks that I have on my needles. So these are the ones that I got back to. This is the second sock. And here is the first that I have finished since last time. And I have to say that these are really special because the story is that for the longest time I said, I am not going to do speckled yarns because there are so many people who are so amazing at doing speckled yarns, and I thought, how can I reach that level of gorgeousness ever? But then, of course, you have to give it a try. And this was actually the very, very first speckled yarn that I dyed, and I knitted. I don't even remember, I don't even think that I knitted with speckled before I dyed this. And so when I started I'm making these top down with 2.5 millimeter needles, kind of like my standard style. But when I started on the leg, I just kept on going and going and going because it was so much fun to knit with the speckles. And I just love the color. I never even named this colorway because it was more of a test run, and I don't even think that I could repeat it. But that's okay because it's just a special one. It was the first. So I'm hoping that I'll soon have the second one done, and I'm about to go on another trip with my husband, which we normally do right after Christmas. So after Christmas and the celebration, we head out on a little couple trip, just the two of us, and my mom stays here with the kids and they enjoy being at home. And this time Wyatt and I go on a road trip, so there's going to be a lot of car knitting, which I know I'm going to love. So I'm sure these are going to get done soon, hopefully by the next podcast. I have also, the progress on the lint sweater, which you may remember as being here. And the pattern is the Daylin pullover by Isabel Kramer. And I should not even talk about progress because I have not been knitting on this at all. And the reason being that I wasn't sure how I was going to continue with it. So this is all the yarn that I have left, which for sure is not going to be enough for 2 sleeves and for making it longer. So I got in touch with the mill that I bought the fiber from, and they were super sweet in working with me, and I sent them even a sample of my yarn, and she picked something that was a pretty close match. And now I do have a little bit more information about this roving, which is really, really nice. As I have told you before, it spins up beautifully. So they call this the Moon Monster Mix, and that's why it's a non-repeatable colorway. And what happens is they take this off their giant they gather whatever is left on their giant cards and throw it all together at the end of the month for the Moon Monster Mix. So it's kind of like a mystery roving, what my mill here in New Mexico calls a mystery roving. And again, this is Yampa Valley Fiberworks. They're in Colorado, and they have since sent me some fiber. And while it's not 100%, of course, not like what I already spun up, it's a close match. I'm thinking it's darker, but it's related enough that it will be fine with the sweater. So next I'm going to spin this, and then I will decide how I'm going to work it into the sweater. I thank you all for the input. Some of you have reached out to me with their ideas and takes on how to go on with the sweater. So I'm still not 100% decided what I'm going to do exactly, but stay tuned. I got to spin this, and then hopefully I will have some progress on this sweater soon, because it's winter. That's when we want our sweaters, right? So another thing that I have been working on is connected to a finished object, something that I finished in the meantime. When I was in in Houston and in Galveston with my husband. I worked on this and I finished it while we were gone. And it is a hat. So this is how it looks like on moi. Kind of cute. I like it. I don't know. I never like them too tight on my head, but this is okay. I did want it fitted on top, and I had to knit this twice because of the pattern. I had a little bit of a hard time to figure out the best way of doing it, and which brings me to my work in progress, which is another hat with almost the same yarn, and this time it's in with a black base. But I need to tell you a little bit more about this. So I'm working this with 6mm needles, and the solid colored yarn is a Barocco, and it's called Barocco Voyage. It's a blend of alpaca and polyester, 93% superfine alpaca. And the thing is that this yarn has a very interesting construction. Sorry, I had to figure this out, how to show you best and rearrange things a little bit. I wanted to talk to you about the construction of this yarn, and on the Barocco, you are not going to be able to really see it because it's so dark. And just for your information, I had one was the one for the finished hat was a heather dark brown, and like I said, the other one was a black. And I'm combining the two with the yarn that I had previously talked about. It's a yarn that has not a cable construction. It's almost like knitted in the round with a very fine yarn. And it makes a super beautiful fabric. So here is my yarn, the one that I have dyed. I will sadly not add this to the shop. This base. Good morning, Fiona. Merry Christmas.
I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay. Because the yarn in itself had, the joins were totally weird. They were kind of like, almost like a hard plastic bits. So I thought that is not something that I want to sell. However, for myself, I love working with this. And my daughter is messing with me. Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas.
So, and also, I adore this colorway. It's called Dancing Dog. It looks a little bit different than on on other bases, but that's okay. I mean, I love how it shows up in the hat. Like I said, 6mm needles, and hopefully at some point I will get this into a pattern, into a written pattern, because it's just, I love how this looks like. And the stitch is called, pulled it up today for you guys, This is the German version. And it's so funny because I found exactly the same pattern in this American book, where it's even with exactly the same picture. It's called Nubbly Tweed 1, and the book is from, let me see if I can figure this out, 1992. So in case you're interested, it has all kinds of stitch patterns in there and instructions in the beginning on how to do certain knitting techniques. But it's a nice book, and as far as I remember, a friend of mine gifted it to me. She got it at a sale, library sale or something like that. Not sure if it's still available. So you know what I've been working on, and you know my first finished object. I have finished another project. And that is my girl's best friend, Shawl, which I have shown you previously. And I finished it last night, and of course, I had to weave in my ends and I had to block it. That's the way I do it. I weave in first and then I block. That's just me. And here it is. Ta ta ta. Oh my goodness, I love it so much. It is knitted from a singles yarn by MJ Yarns. I talked about it before, 3 colors, obviously. And I have just enough yarn left to make the pom-poms for that go somewhere on the bottom edge here. Maybe 3, maybe more. And I will make them removable. Those are the ones that I haven't done yet. But I really, really like it. And I think last time I was probably about here. So I had not started the burnt orange section here with the bubbles. And then of course for this last edge, I knitted it wider. I used up pretty much all of my yarn, all of that purple. I have a little bit left. And so the shawl is made with 3.5 millimeter needles. And I was thinking about ending it with an I-cord edge like I did my indie mashup shawls. But I didn't like it so much. I started doing it and then I did whatever. So I used the stretchy bind off that is, hold on, how's it done? You knit 2 together through the back loop, then you knit 1, and those 2 stitches you knit together through the back loop again. I'm not sure if this one has a name, but I got it from another pattern that I previously made. Has a super nice drape. Yep. Very happy. And by the way, MJ Yarns compliments, 0 bleeding when I washed this last night. Awesome. Okay. Oh, I almost forgot the big elephant right in front of me. There is another thing that I have been working on. Hold on, I need to make some room. And it is something that makes me think of Patty Hay 4 boys and an NL girl. She's in Newfoundland. I'm probably saying that completely like a total German, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. But Patty is a rug hooker, so among other things. And so her and I have this in common because I also hook rugs. I have not done as much in the past months as a few years ago, but my guild, I'm part of the local guild, and so I when we had recently had a little mini retreat for 3 days, I decided I had to just start something new, something Christmas themed, and within 10-15 minutes I had a pattern drawn up. But it is something that is dear to my heart because it's a drawing that Fiona had made many years ago, and here's the drawing. I enlarged it as a reference. It's Rudolph as a kind of a stick figure. And at the retreat, I worked on the tree. And then I went through my stash and I knew I wanted a light background to make the design pop. A little bit snowy, wintry, icy in the color. And I did not find anything, but I didn't want to do just white. And so I dyed up some off-white fabric that I had. It was a skirt that thrifted skirt that I had undone, and so I just had the 2 large pieces. And I have filmed a little bit of the dye process of the first piece of fabric that I'm going to show you, but that's the one that I am not using for it because it would have been a little too dark, or darker as I wanted. I mean, at least for this project, but it's a beautiful fabric. All shades of blues and a little bit of purple in there. Large piece, very nice. Here you see where the zipper of the skirt was. And here is the piece that I'm using now as my background. Just slight variations in the blue and much less purples. And I diluted the dye more on this piece, and I was not as focused on creating variation because I had already done the other one and I knew I wanted to have it different and not as busy. So one more time, the little Rudy to be. That's what I have been working on. I have a few other things that I want to share with you, so I hope you're going to enjoy seeing what was in my advent calendar. Oh gosh, that thing made me so happy every day until today. Today I opened the last package and I'm going to be sad tomorrow when it's over. These are my minis. The calendar comes from Bia and Rose in Britain, and I just dropped one of my gorgeous minis. I have not used any of these. I will soon enough, but I love them so much. Look at that. And I kept the tags for the days on each one of them, so maybe I'm even gonna use them in order. I'm not sure about that. So that was my calendar. And I am so thrilled to share this next thing with you. I have been contacted by an Instagram friend of mine, and I have been following her for a long time, ever since I saw in another feed of one of my friends, I saw one of her jewelry pieces, and she makes, it's an artist who is LA based, and her studio name is Porter Ness. And Jen makes gorgeous pieces and gorgeous rings, a lot of rings, and she has recently picked up knitting. So yay for new knitters. And that's why she also, her mom is a knitter also. So Jen has gotten into knitting, and she wants to go into designing pieces for knitters. And so that's why she got in touch with me and asked me if I would like to try one of her new shawl pins. And heck yes, would I like to try that? I love your work, Jen. So I have not even taken it off its beautiful packaging. I only took it out of the clear wrap, but I did want you to see how lovely her whole packaging is. So here is the shawl pin that Jen sent me. So and I know she has another style since then, so check her out on Instagram, Porter Ness. And this is what it says on the back of the packaging: handmade jewelry for fiber art garments. Inspired by her mother's knitting and fiber obsession, artist Jennifer L. Porter creates fine art shawl pins and buttons using a 5,000-year-old lost wax casting process. Each piece is hand finished by the artist in Los Angeles. So cool. So now I can't wait to give this a try, and I'm very sure that I will find a lot of use for it. I am not wearing a cardigan, but you may remember my braid Arlon cardigan, the one that has the wider edge and no buttons. I know it's going to look fabulous on that one, and right here in the center. Jen also makes cards. So cool. So this is how they are in her shop. Thank you again, Jen, for giving me the chance to try your shawl pin. So gorgeous. So then, as I said, I was in Houston, and what do you do when you visit a town? You visit the local yarn store, and of course you meet the locals. So sadly, I did not get to meet my friend Shoba, who lives there. She was ill and she wasn't able to meet me, but I did get to meet Brittany, who used to have a podcast, and hopefully she will get back to podcasting. Brittany met me at her local yarn store, and I got to hang out with her knitting group. So that was super fun. And the yarn store is called the Yarn Store Boutique. You can look it up in Houston. And Doris is the owner. Hey, Doris. And I got this super cool tape measure. That was a little extra gift that she gave me. And this is a yarn that I brought. I really have to hold back because that's one of the yarns that I really want to work with. I saw that Brittany was had just finished knitting up a pair of socks in another colorway, and the yarn, the colors totally change within the sock. So you have to split the skein in half to get identical socks. And yeah, I cannot even describe. I think partly it was striped and then different variations. And this is the yarn. It's a 100% extra fine superwash merino. 335 yards and 100 grams. So finish other socks first before I cast on new ones. I also visited another store that Brittany recommended. It's Park, oh my gosh, was it Park City Yarns? No, I'm not 100% sure. Well, I will look it up and put it in for you. So I may have made some purchases. And boy, I gotta get knitting because I did not just grab one, but one, two, three, yes. 5, 6. I know I'm crazy. But it's hedgehog. I have never ever in my life seen hedgehog in a store and been able to touch it and see it for real and all of that. So I just had to get it. I had to pick in real life. So, and no, I will not go on a yarn diet in the new year like some people you know I'm talking about. Wink. But yeah, well, it just had to happen. So all of these are the hedgehog fibers, sock yarn, and I do not know what I will make with them. I don't think I will make socks. I will figure out something else. That is this. Oh yes, oh my goodness, I meant to show you this. Mom and I have been out thrifting quite a bit, and this is one of the treasures that we found. Check it out. How cool is this? So this is I declared this my podcasting basket / container, whatever it is. Very cool. Love it. And just one more thing. Of course, I had to share with you one of the cute things that I was gifted from a dear friend of mine. Thank you, Sabrina. The Fat Squirrel Elizabeth Zimmerman pin. Yay. These are sold out by now. And I'm so glad I got one of them. Thank you. So I'm looking around and this is it. Oh wait, one more thing. Hold on. I meant to show you one more thing that I couldn't bring here because Mom is not supposed to see this. because I'm hoping to get this done for her birthday. Her birthday is mid-January, and we always celebrate it together before she goes back home to Germany. And I have started a shawl a while ago, and I think that's very much kind of her colors. So I will finish it for her. And it is on the Spice Market by the fabulous and super talented Melanie Berg. If I had to pick two designers, they're really, these are the ones that I have made a lot of patterns from, Melanie Berg and Isabel Kramer. So let me show you where I am. It's quite scrunched up because I haven't knitted on this in ages. Oh my goodness. Oh yes, this is the back. How am I going to hold this for you? Okay, here we go. That's a little better. So the yarn is ZiaWoolz Sugarloaf, which is a 100% superwash merino in a light fingering weight. One skein of this has about 550 yards, and I really love working with this. It has a very nice hand, and all the blues I custom dyed for the shawl, as well as the green. I did have a green, but I didn't like it, so I over dyed it as we do. And I'm looking forward to getting this done and finishing it for her. Now, this has been really everything. And again, my friends, thank you so much for watching. And have a wonderful Christmas. Knit a lot. Enjoy the peace. Enjoy your families. Enjoy the love. And celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ. And I'm looking forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye.